Chapter 2 Sources of Bushido. One may begin with Buddhism, from which we get a sense of calm trust in fate, a giving in to what will be. We have no fear of danger, bad luck, or death. When a pupil equals his master, Zen Buddhism becomes the teacher. Zen leads one to reach levels of thought beyond words. Its method is long, quiet, deep thinking. It brings one to the realization of the basic truth which underlies everything. Its goal is to be in harmony with that truth. One awakens to a new heaven and a new earth. What we could not get from Buddhism was provided by Shinto abundantly: loyalty to the emperor, respect for one's ancestors, and devotion to one's parents. These things balance the arrogance of the samurai with humility. Shinto teaches that man is basically good and pure. The mirror in a Shinto shrine is for you to see yourself, the very image of the deity. It is for you to know yourself, your moral nature. Also, the nature worship of Shinto makes our country dear to our souls. Ancestor worship makes the imperial family the fountainhead of the whole nation. To us, the country is more than just soil for planting. It is the holy home of the gods. To us, the emperor is the bodily representative of heaven on earth. It is said that British royalty is not only the image of authority, but also the symbol of national unity. I believe that royalty in Japan is even stronger. The teachings of Shinto have to do with the two main points of the emotional life of the Japanese people: love of country and loyalty. Our national faith is not based on philosophy or religion, but on instinctive racial feelings. These strong and deep racial emotions were totally implanted in Bushido, not so much as teachings, but as impulses. Shinto therefore provides rules for doing rather than believing. In regard to ethical instruction, the teachings of Confucius were much used for forming Bushido. The 5 moral relations between master and servant, lord and follower, father and son, husband and wife, older and younger brother, friend and friend, were what Japanese racial instinct already knew. These ideas were well suited to the samurai, who formed the ruling class. In addition to Confucius, Mencius also had great influence on Bushido, even though some of his democratic theories were considered to be against the existing social order. Their writings formed the main textbooks for young people and were the highest authority in discussions among old people. For the typical samurai, however, to have knowledge only was to be a fool. Book learning alone was compared to a bad-smelling vegetable that must be boiled and boiled before it can be used. Too little learning and too much learning were both unpleasant. The samurai thought that knowledge really becomes knowledge only when it is made a part of the mind of the learner and shows in his character. Intellect itself was therefore considered inferior to ethical emotion. Man and the universe both were thought to be spiritual and ethical. Bushido could not accept the judgment of Huxley, that the natural process was unmoral. Knowledge, therefore, was not an end in itself, but only a means to attaining wisdom. So anyone who stopped short of this goal was regarded as being nothing more than a machine. The true importance of knowledge was its practical application in life. This was repeated over and over by the Chinese philosopher Wan Yang Min. To know and to act are one and the same. Some of the noblest of Bushi were strongly influenced by him. His writings have many similarities to those in the New Testament. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be given to you. This is a thought that may be found on almost any page of Wan Yang Min. A Japanese disciple of his said that the Lord of heaven and earth lives in the heart of man, his kokoro, mind. he is living and always shining. We know right and wrong by this, called conscience, which does not make errors. The Japanese mind, as expressed by the ideals of Shinto, was able to understand and appreciate Yang Min's thoughts easily. So the thoughts from various sources comprising Bushido were few and simple. They made possible the safe conduct of life through the unsafest periods in our history. By these thoughts, a new and unique type of man was formed. In the 16th century, everything was confused in Japan. But there was the need for each man to do justice for himself. Those conditions made man into a superb animal, totally militant.